Hey y'all, welcome to Freedom Makers. I'm Amanda and today I'm really excited to sit down with you guys. I wanted to talk to you guys about a question that I have gotten several times in the last couple of weeks. There have been a lot of people sending me messages about different things that are happening in their areas, and the question keeps coming up: how long is the food gonna last? And people are very on edge. People are very nervous about food shortages and things like that. But today I want to talk to you about not being that way. There is no way to know from day to day, even on a good day, what's going to happen in your life. There's no way to know anything, really. We don't know the future. We don't know. And there is something to be said about being prepared. It is a biblical principle to be prepared. There are many, many examples where the Lord had either told people to prepare for certain things, or had sent people to tell them to prepare for different things. There have also been a lot of examples where God provided things out of nothing, where He provided food where there was no food. And so there are a lot of different opinions on preparedness, and whether it's fear or whether it's smart to do, whether it's foolish, whether it's wise. A lot of people have a lot of different opinions. And so regardless of where you stand in the whole prepping spectrum, for lack of a better term, there should be no fear attached to it. You should never be prepping from a place of, I'm terrified and I have to put all the food up I can. I put up all the food I can because for us, this is a lifestyle. We live seasonally. So we grow food, we put up that food. In the winter, we eat the food. We're a lot like squirrels. And I really feel like the Lord intended us to live seasonally. It is much healthier for us to eat things in season because science has shown that the things that are provided in season are what your body needs for that particular geographical location. So where we are, asparagus grows in the springtime. Your body happens to need the things that are in asparagus in the springtime. Tomatoes, everything has a season, and your body needs what is in season. So we do have a lot stocked up for winter because we could grow a lot of things during the winter. Where we are, we're down south now. My daughter and I are not in Arkansas anymore. We are in Mississippi, southern Mississippi, and that increased our growing season by a month and a half. There are 3 additional weeks in the spring and 3 additional weeks in the fall that we can grow food. And so because of that, it's not as strenuous a thing to have all this food for winter because our growing season is longer. There's a very short amount of time that we wouldn't be able to grow anything in the winter, if that would happen at all. And we do have access to a greenhouse here nearby that we could use as well during those months or weeks really, where there would not be an ample food supply outside. So it's not as taxing an issue as maybe it would be for someone living in Michigan. You know, your winter is longer, so you may need more food stocked up. But my point, I think what I intended to say in this video is that everyone is, or maybe not everyone, a lot of people are really stressed out right now about food shortages. You guys are sending me emails like crazy. I can't even get to them all anymore. Messages on Facebook. You guys are tagging me in things, and so I'm seeing that it's legit, y'all. I mean, things are happening around not just the country but the world, where people are seeing empty shelves. They're seeing things that aren't in stock. They're seeing that sign at the grocery store that says, due to climate, whatever, due to this year's growing season or whatever, this is unavailable until this projected date. And usually those signs usually say, like, we expect to have some next August or by the end of September. Or, like, I've seen signs like that here where we are, where it says, like, an expected date where you should have that item again. But people are really nervous about that right now. And so while you should be prepared, while you should stock up food while you can, you shouldn't do it out of fear. You should never do it out of fear. You should have a little more faith. And that's hard for me to say as a single parent, because I definitely feel a burden of responsibility to make sure that I can take care of my kid, to make sure that she is fed. Like, that is a huge part of my thought process. And so really, on those days that I feel scared and stressed out, it's because I'm not walking closely with the Lord. And I know that some of my viewers are not of the same belief system I am. I know some of you guys are probably reaching to turn off the video, and that's okay. You have as much right to believe what you believe as I do. But for me, when I'm having those moments of fear, it's because I'm not walking with the Lord very closely. It's because I'm not putting my trust in Him. I am a prepper. I do make sure that we have food stocked. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but you at the same time have to make sure you're walking closely with the Lord, because if you're not, you're going to be a nervous wreck. I mean, I know I am if I'm not. So that being said, you should be preparing. If you see something coming, you should be getting ready for that. If you have this feeling in your gut that you need to be doing something, do it. Do it. There are a lot of things I do to give myself peace of mind. I don't just blindly have faith, because the Word does say that the Lord says that my people perish from a lack of knowledge. People die because they're not willing to open their eyes and learn something. And when you see something coming, you should be ready for that. You should have your eyes open. You should notice, hey, this is obviously in short supply. I see that coming. I see that there are things happening. I'm going to get ready for that. But don't do it just because like you're flipping out and you're just afraid all the time and a nervous wreck. That is a terrible way to parent. To be nervous all the time, your kids are going to get nervous if you're nervous. I don't want my daughter to live like that. I don't want her to be afraid of everything. I don't want her to think, we're not going to have enough food. I mean, like, that's not healthy. That's not healthy at all. And so, because we live this way as a lifestyle, it's not that way for her. She doesn't think anything of the fact that mommy cans tomatoes, because that's just what mommy does. She doesn't get nervous about, like, we're going to run out of food because mommy cans. Mommy cans because we have to have food in the wintertime. And a lot of times when she's playing outside, she cracks me up, because she'll say, I'll say, what you doing? And she'll have like a little bowl or something from her play kitchen outside, and she'll be putting like grass in it or little acorns or something, and she's like, Mama, this is some soup I'm gonna can for winter. Or this is some greens, I'm gonna put them up in the freezer. And like, she's playing and she's pretending, but that for us is a lifestyle. So that's the way we live, and that is what she sees. And so for her, it's very natural. You have to eat in the wintertime, so we're gonna put it up when times are of plenty. Summertime is a time of plenty. Our garden is doing well. We're growing things. There are a lot of things available at the U-Pick that we went to this year. Those things are of plenty. But in the wintertime, things aren't as plentiful. So for me, and from a biblical perspective, it makes sense to take that time of plenty and save some of that for times that are not as plentiful. In the summer, you can for the winter. And so a lot of people have called me out as a fearful person. I've done a lot of videos on not being afraid, on prepping without fear, about this being a lifestyle for us. But still, a lot of people come from a place of fear, and so when they see someone prepping or when they see someone canning, they don't think of that as a lifestyle for that person. They think, oh gosh, they must be afraid. And that's not really the case. So today, hopefully, if anything, I want in this video for you guys to, the takeaway to be that fear is not the place you need to be coming from. If you're afraid, something else is wrong. If you're afraid, you have to find peace on your own. You have to find a place where you can have peace. And if you don't have peace, you're probably relying on yourself, because we are not enough. I will never be able to can enough. I will never be able to know enough. I will never have enough skills to be everything for anyone. It's not possible. But in learning what I can, in doing what I can, I feel like it's just my responsibility. I don't know if that's coming out right. But I feel like if you are of the same mind, that you will understand what I'm saying. So if you're not prepared, get prepared. But I also want you guys to examine your heart, and if you are doing this out of fear, to really examine why, and to find some peace. Find some peace. And for me, peace only comes from the Lord. If I'm not walking with Him, I don't have peace. But when I am, when I'm reading my Bible, when I'm staying close, I have peace, and I just know that everything's going to be okay. A storm can be raging all around me. My life has crumbled to bits in the past. If you guys have followed my journey, my story, you know that my life has crumbled around me more than once. And I have crawled out of that, but not of my own doing, but because I've trusted in God. And He is who I have placed my trust in, not myself. I'm just a person. I'm just a girl that chooses to walk with Him. And so for me, that makes all the difference. And I hope that this inspires you to really examine your life and to make it what it needs to be as well, so that you can have peace. Get right with the Lord. Get your priorities straight. A lot of this comes down to priorities. If your relationship with the Lord is not a priority, and your priority is on other things, nothing else really works out right. I know that from experience. Life does not, it's just like my day is never right if I don't acknowledge Him first. If I don't spend time with that, in that relationship, the rest of my day, the rest of my life doesn't work out the same. I don't have the same peace. And so for me, that's the most important thing, because it makes everything else okay. So really look at your priorities if you're prepping out of fear, and that will help you to determine why you're doing this, why you're prepping. And if you're afraid, you need to find out why, and maybe reprioritize your life in a way that's going to bring you peace. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this makes sense. I hope that this inspires you. Inspire. I love this shirt because I want to inspire people more than anything. I don't want you guys to be a fear mindset person. I've been there. I have been a very afraid person in my life, and it's not beneficial for yourself, for your family, and it's not a great place to live from, to be afraid all the time. So now I live from a place where I know that no matter what happens to me, around me, no matter what, I have a safety net. God's got my back, and I don't have to worry. There's so much peace in that. So I don't know what else to say to you guys about this. I really don't. And I know that for a lot of people this won't make sense. But for someone, this will make sense. And I believe that in sharing my heart today, that someone's life will be changed because someone needed to hear this today. This is not the kind of video I typically do, but someone, I think, today needs to hear where peace comes from. So if that's you, this video is for you. I hope you guys have an awesome day. I'm so grateful that you're here. I appreciate you, and I hope that you walk away from this video inspired. Truly.